Skinwalkers? Shape-shifting creatures of Navajo legend? Just scary stories told to keep people away. I'm a journalist, a man of logic and reason. I deal in facts, not folklore. I'm here in the Arizona desert to chase a story. An unexplained light phenomenon locals whisper about.
Don't go out after dark, especially not in the canyon. The skinwalkers will get you.
Mark had dismissed her warnings as superstitious nonsense. He would soon learn the true meaning of fear. The setting sun cast long shadows across the barren landscape. The air, thick with the smell of sagebrush and dust, crackled with an unseen energy. Mark, armed with his camera and skepticism, ventured into the heart of the Navajo reservation, ready to debunk another myth. He was determined to expose the truth, whatever it may be. The jeep rumbled along the dusty trail, kicking up a cloud of red dust. The sun, a fiery ball on the horizon, was sinking fast. Mark could feel the temperature dropping, a chill wind whipping through the open vehicle.
I've got a job to do.
He pushed deeper into the reservation, ignoring the growing unease in his gut. The rugged landscape, stark and unforgiving, stretched out before him. Twisted Joshua trees clawed at the twilight sky, their shadows dancing ominously on the ground. The silence was absolute, broken only by the crunch of tires on gravel. It was the kind of silence that pressed in on you, heavy and expectant. As darkness descended, the desert came alive with sound. The wind howled through the canyons, carrying with it the distant yips of coyotes. Mark could hear the rustle of unseen creatures in the underbrush. He rolled up the jeep's windows, a primal fear starting to grip him.
It's just the wind, just animals, but deep down I know it's something more.
The moon, a silver sliver in the inky sky, offered little comfort. The headlights of the jeep cut through the darkness, illuminating the road ahead. Mark's heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing in the silence of the vehicle. He could feel his senses on high alert, every shadow a potential threat. A sudden movement outside the jeep caught his eye.
What was that?
He slammed on the brakes, the vehicle skidding to a halt. His breath caught in his throat as he strained to see through the darkness. Was it just a trick of the light or something more sinister? He stepped out of the jeep, the cold desert air hitting him like a slap. The wind seemed to whisper around him, carrying with it the faint scent of decay and something else. Something ancient and evil. He could feel the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end.
I'm being watched, I'm sure of it.
A blood-curdling shriek pierced the night, coming from the darkness just beyond the reach of his headlights. Mark froze, his blood turning to ice. The sound was like nothing he'd ever heard, a mix of animal fury and human agony. It was a sound that spoke of pure, primal terror. Then he saw it. A figure, silhouetted against the moonlit sky, standing at the edge of the road. It was tall and gaunt, its limbs elongated and twisted at unnatural angles. Its eyes glowed with an eerie yellow light, burning into him like hot coals. The creature took a step closer, and Mark could make out more details. Its skin was a patchwork of fur and flesh, as if it had been crudely sewn together from different animals. Its teeth were bared in a grotesque grin, revealing rows of sharp, pointed fangs. The stench of decay was overwhelming.
This is no animal, this is a skinwalker.
Terror lent speed to his limbs. Mark scrambled back into the jeep, fumbling with the keys. The engine roared to life, and he slammed the vehicle into gear.
Come on, come on!
He stomped on the accelerator, the jeep lurching forward in a cloud of dust. He could hear the creature's enraged shrieks behind him, getting closer. He glanced in the rearview mirror and saw it. The skinwalker was running on all fours, its long limbs propelling it forward with impossible speed. Its eyes burned with a malevolent light, and its jaws snapped at the jeep's bumper. Mark drove like a man possessed, pushing the jeep to its limits. The rough terrain threatened to tear the vehicle apart, but he didn't dare slow down. He could feel the presence of the skinwalker behind him, its rage palpable.
I have to escape, I have to get away.
He had to escape, he had to get away. He had cheated death.
I had never driven so fast, so recklessly in my life.
The sun was just beginning to rise when Mark finally reached the outskirts of town. He pulled into the deserted parking lot of the trading post, his body trembling with exhaustion and terror.
It was as if it had vanished into thin air.
But the camera was gone. He frantically searched the jeep, but it was nowhere to be found.
I reached for my camera, desperate to see if I had captured any evidence of the nightmare I had just experienced.
Was the desert heat playing tricks on his mind? But deep down he knew the truth.
No. Where is it?
He slumped back in his seat, his mind racing. Had he imagined the whole thing?
I saw it. I felt its evil. I know what I saw.
He had seen the Skinwalker. He had felt its evil, and he had escaped with his life.
I left the reservation that day, a changed man. The experience had shaken me to my core. I had gone into the desert a skeptic, a man who prided himself on his rationality. I returned a believer, haunted by the memory of that night. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that the Skinwalker was still out there, lurking in the shadows. I had nightmares, vivid and terrifying, of the creature's glowing eyes and twisted grin.
He tried to tell his story, to warn others about the dangers that lurked in the desert, but no one believed him. They dismissed his account as exhaustion, dehydration, or even a desperate attempt to drum up publicity. He was labeled a fraud, a madman, but he knew the truth.
My encounter with the Skinwalker had forced me to confront the limits of my own understanding. I had always believed that the world could be explained through logic and reason, but the desert held secrets that defied explanation, ancient forces that whispered in the wind and shadows. I came to realize that the power of belief, both positive and negative, was a force to be reckoned with. The Navajo people believed in the Skinwalkers, and that belief gave these creatures power. To dismiss their legends as mere superstition was to underestimate the true nature of the world.
He learned that some things are best left undisturbed, some places best avoided. The desert, for all its beauty, was a place of power and mystery. It was a place where ancient legends still held sway, where the veil between worlds was thin.
My experience taught me the importance of respecting the beliefs and traditions of others, even if I didn't fully understand them. I had gone into the desert with arrogance and disrespect, and I had paid the price. I realized that the world was a vast and mysterious place full of wonders and terrors that defied human comprehension. To approach the unknown with an open mind, with humility and respect, was the only way to truly understand its power.
He came to appreciate the Navajo people's deep connection to the land, their reverence for the natural world. He understood that their legends passed down through generations were more than just stories. They were warnings, reminders of the delicate balance between humanity and the forces of nature.
I never forgot my encounter with the Skinwalker. It became a defining moment in my life, a constant reminder of the unseen forces that shape our world. I carried the scars of that night, both physical and emotional, as a testament to the power of belief. I continued to write, but my focus shifted. I no longer sought to debunk the unexplained. Instead, I used my platform to explore the mysteries of the world, to give voice to the forgotten and the feared. I became a conduit between the known and the unknown, a bridge between skepticism and belief.
He knew that his story, like the legends of the Skinwalkers, served as a warning to respect the power of belief, to tread carefully in the face of the unknown, and to never underestimate the darkness that lurks at the edge of the light.